Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And guys, we have gotten a wipeout of the markets. It is something that we have been waiting for a little bit of time. Obviously, we were expecting some nice low prices, but man, some of these altcoins got hammered today, including, of course, XRP. And it is all because of a lot of things, right? Like, we're going to go over a few things first and foremost. But throughout the market, some altcoins are still up on the 30-day span. A lot of these altcoins are still up. Like XDC is still up a decent amount. HBAR doing pretty well. There's been a few other ones as well, but for the most part, most of the market is getting hit with some significant downside. Bitcoin came down. I know on CoinMarketCap it's not going to show me the exact amount, but it did come down pretty close to about 25.3K, which was an area of interest for a while there on Bitcoin. So, as we look at the market, this is pretty healthy. Listen, wipeouts are needed, especially in these markets. They need to wipe out the weak hands. And, for the most part, this will help. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but this will help have the market kind of move towards a consolidation time frame where we kind of consolidate at some nice levels and then we go back to 30K plus. I am expecting 40K plus to be targeted eventually here soon. And when I say that, I mean probably like the middle of the fall time frame. I do think that's going to take some time for us to bounce back just a little bit. Probably for the rest of the month, we will see sideways price action. But I might be wrong, right? Like, we might have an impulsive move back to 30K. We have seen it in the past, but I look at this time very similar to the time back in the November timeframe with FTX. I also kind of look at this as a time in the market very similar to like March of 2020. Obviously, it's not as bad. If you guys were here during March of 2020, then you know that at that time it felt like the whole world around you was crumbling. And all of this massive move in the market is all because of a few things. One, Evergrande. So Chinese property giant Evergrande files for bankruptcy, really kind of putting a big warning sign and red flag on the real estate area. Because guess what? This is a company that over the years has grown to own over 1,300 projects in over 280 cities across China. And they had as much as $310 billion in debts to bondholders, banks, building contractors, and even other creditors. And that was in 2021. Now it appears to be suffering enough to file for Chapter 15 bankruptcy. So this is definitely interesting. And again, this is a giant, right? Like, this is a giant company. Even if you look at the history behind them, like, they own a significant amount of real estate. And it does beg the question, like, are we about to see a washout of the real estate market? And I do think that it really does start in a few areas like China, Japan, etc. And then what we will see is this kind of move over to the US. I've talked about it, right? Real estate is definitely one of the areas that is a little odd right now, especially in the US, because it's a market that for the most part we know is overvalued right now. And the demand is really not there. Most people cannot afford to buy a house right now, especially with the interest rates on them, the price of them as well. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, on a $400,000 house a couple years back, your payments a month would be anywhere between roughly $1,500 to possibly $2,000. Now you're looking at anywhere between 3.5 to 4K plus. It's wild. But here we have real estate. Evergrande Group owns 565 million square meters, so 6,080 million square feet of development land and real estate projects in 22 cities, including Guangzhou. I hope that I'm saying that name right. And then, of course, a few other ones as well. So they do have a lot of real estate. They are the second largest real estate developer in mainland China. And now with them filing Chapter 15 bankruptcy, what are going to be like what's going to be the contagion effects here, especially in the US, right? It's questionable. But then also, we've seen this today as well, which was we are unable to confirm reports that SpaceX sold $373 million worth of Bitcoin. The report by Wall Street Journal is unclear and states SpaceX wrote down the value of Bitcoin it owns by a total of $373 million last year. And in 2021, and has sold the cryptocurrency. And as of now, there's no other evidence to confirm the reports. And again, like, this is the problem, okay? Take a step back and realize that there is people out there that will impulsively sell off of nonsense in this market. And I have seen it many times in the past. And the biggest problem that I see in this market to date is this stupid stuff, right? Like, we have Whale Wire. Now, I follow this account just to make sure that I can quote the tweets and tell everyone to block this account. This is one of the worst accounts on crypto Twitter, or crypto X, whatever you want to call it. And there's so many of this account. There's Crypto Whale, Whale Crypto. I mean, there's so many accounts tied to the same individual. If you guys know who this individual is, then you are aware of who I'm talking about. They have made multiple accounts over the years. They have scammed a lot of individuals as well. And now they are engagement farming. Over 116,000 views. They get a ton of likes, ton of views and stuff like that. And the biggest problem is, I said, like, this is the stupid stuff I've read all day. Like, the dumbest thing I've ever read all day today. And I said, I'd block every single one of these whale accounts, including Crypto Whale. Spreads FUD continuously. And if you were around in 2021, then you know this. Yeah, they were bullish, or sorry, they were bearish all of 2021 while the market was extremely bullish. They missed out on every single move in 2021. And here we have them saying China Evergrande has just submitted a petition for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in New York, marking a significant move amidst its financial challenges. No wonder Bitcoin is tanking like a rock today. Tether, which is what props up Bitcoin and is likely heavily exposed to China Evergrande, just took a major hit. Like, there is no confirmation of this at all. And you know what? We have been hearing around this market for probably the last, I don't even know now. It's probably like 4 years that Tether's going to implode. Tether's going to zero. Tether's going to do this. And if you guys were here in like the late 2022 timeframe, then you are all aware of when Tether, let's go back to, I want to go back to the 1 year, and then I want to go all the way back to around like 2022. So if you guys were around, like I said, during the middle of 2022, when we start to see Luna collapse, everyone thought that Tether was done. It was depegging, because we seen UST depeg. And then again, like, we seen it back in November as well. Every single buddy in this, like, this entire market plays into the FUD. We have seen Tether going all the way back to 2017 come down to 92.5 cents. And it bounced back. We have seen so much FUD around this market, especially with some of the largest stablecoins. Sometimes, I will say this. Sometimes I do think that the retail sector is the ones that are ruining the party for themselves. Half the time, what we are seeing is FUD like this being spread with zero sources to back their nonsense, and everyone plays into it. And I did say over on Twitter as well, I said, all right, so let's analyze what has happened this week. And now we have even more. Michael Burry, $1.6 billion short position, getting spread around like it's the end of the world. Fake news spreading about how all ETFs are delayed until 2024. Mainstream media touting the Bitcoin halving and mentioning this is when ETFs will be approved. Crypto market flush begins while everyone flips bearish and pessimism floods CT, crypto Twitter. Yeah, I think we are going higher in the coming weeks. And, you know, again, like, add on what we recently seen with the China Evergrande news, and then we see this news come out around SpaceX, which we don't have confirmation of, and then combine this with the individuals spreading nonsense around Twitter. Like, all of this, in my opinion, reminds me of all of the major bearish time frames in this market where we have seen significant bounces off the bottom. Credible Crypto did also tweet out this. He said, this is it. Largest amount of daily liquidations in over a month on this move. Should be the beginning of the end of this consolidation. Every single consolidation structure since 15K has ended with a final flush to the downside before a reversal. Anything above 25K is fair game and doesn't change. Higher time frame, bullish structure in the slightest. Get through this and you're good. And he's really kind of just talking about this. In general, you guys are probably aware of the March timeframe of this year, right? Like when we had that massive sell-off in March, here it was. So we went from like 24.8K, almost 25K. We were fighting the resistance there. And then we sold off down to about like 20K. That was due to the bank collapses that were happening. A lot of people thought it was the end of the world as well. And look at what ended up happening. We had a significant bounce all the way to almost 5K. Now, as we look at the market currently, I mean, like this is a rough sell-off. It really is. But I want you guys to understand that, this could very well be the same exact thing that happened back here, where this time, guess what? We will most likely break over those highs that we need to, which is like anywhere between it's almost like 32K. I would ultimately want to flip the summer of 2021 lows, which is like sitting at about like 31K. We've kind of gotten close to it. I would ultimately want to see 32K flipped and turned into support on Bitcoin and have a close over that. But for the most part, I just don't understand how anyone could be extremely bearish at this current moment in time. And the reason why I say that is just when we have days like this is what separates the weak hands from those that have been around the space for a while. Okay? Like when we look at XRP, the craziest thing about XRP is that we were expecting 53 to 56 cents. Well, guess what? We got well beyond that. On some exchanges, I think it was sitting at like 50 or 47 cents, sorry. As we look at XRP, we are back down to the levels before the lawsuit announcement. And I would argue that right now at this level, when we were back here, we have a lot more substance tied to XRP now. XRP is more bullish here than it was back here because of the lawsuit, because of what Ripple has been, announcing with expansions on on-demand liquidity corridors. I mean, XRP trading has been insane. I mean, some of the volumes that we've seen recently on Fiat Leak has been wild to watch. But to me personally, I just don't understand how anyone can be bearish at this current moment in time. I'm unfazed, right? Nothing. If you've been around this space for a while, if you were here during Luna, if you were here during FTX, if you were here during March 2020, and even some timeframes behind that, this should not even faze you. This should be like another day in the office, technically. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I mean, these crypto nukes, when the market nukes like this is what we need. This is truly what we need, especially to push forward on. Liquidations are crucial, especially liquidity grabs, to accommodate for the market to even go higher. So this is great. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Some nice discounts out there. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. As up to you all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this video. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.